get this, right? Almost half of those seeking to have an affair are happier with their job than with their primary relationship. But what exactly does a cheater do for a living?
Well, medical assistants and nurses, surprisingly, top the lists of professions for female cheaters. And it's jobs in IT or tech for male cheaters, which I think is less of a surprise.
No.
This is all according to a survey by the dating site Ashley Madison. OK,
so why do people cheat? To answer this, we're joined now by broadcaster and psychotherapist Lucy Beresford. Good morning, Lucy.
Morning, Lucy.
So, is it OK of me to say naughty nurses in this day and age? Am I going to get cancelled for that?
You're out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Been cancelled.
See ya.
There's the door.
But yes, you're talking about the caring professions, and I think it's very appropriate.
I'm surprised by that.
Women, well, because they're very nurturing, very loving, very giving, whereas the males who are in tech and IT, very strategic, kind of working in their lives in terms of 3D chess, and that's maybe how they structure their social life as well.
But you'd think the caring jobs, like being a nurse, you'd have such guilt to cheat on your partner.
I think the interesting thing is, why do people cheat?
Yes.
And from this survey, it's very clear that actually nearly a third of people who are married say that they are happily married, even though they are cheating. So what does that tell you? And I think what it says is that some people are not looking to blow up their primary relationship when they're having an affair. What they are discovering is that that primary relationship is not fulfilling all of their needs. They don't feel validated, they don't feel heard, they don't feel seen. And if you are a very giving person, if you're very loving, that can be incredibly demoralising. But some of the other interesting information was that 4 out of 10 people were firstborn. That if you're likely to cheat, the chances are you might be the firstborn in your family, whereas only 1 in 10 are actually only children, which suggests to me that only children are much more self-sufficient emotionally.
Is there a link between high-pressure jobs, maybe nurses infamously, you know, they're working long hours, underpaid, stressed out? Is there a link between jobs of that nature and cheating, maybe as a relief?
Absolutely, as a stress release, one might almost say. But then again, that's the other question around why do people have affairs. Is it just about sex, or is it about emotional connection? Is it about emotional validation? And increasingly, people are discovering that their primary relationship is just not a place where they feel safe to let their vulnerability out. And that if you can find a relationship with someone who can do that, and you only have one life. And also in terms of non-monogamy, Ashley Madison did another piece of research last year about whether people are actually becoming more accepting of the fact that you're not going to stay with the same person for the rest of your life. I have to say that one of the most interesting things about this is star signs. It says that actually if you're Leo, if you're a male, the chances are you're going to cheat. And if you're female, it's much more the air signs, like sort of, or even fiery signs like Sagittarius and Aries. So watch out. Always ask what that person's star sign is when you go on your first date.
But it is interesting, having said that, this survey found that personality didn't actually come into it that much. It was about half and half if you're an introvert or an extrovert that you'd be likely to have an affair.
I think that's right. And I think that just speaks to the fact that all people want to have a good emotional connection. So it doesn't matter whether you're really social or whether you're someone who has to recharge your batteries in private time, that actually we only ever want 3 things in life. We want to feel safe, we want to feel loved, but we also want to feel heard. And in increasingly a number of marriages and long-term relationships, we get into grooves, we get into ruts, and we stop hearing our partner, we stop listening to them, and they stop listening to us. And that is a surefire way of having an affair.
Well, so the top 5 professions among female respondents of cheaters, 1 was the medical assistant nurse, as we've already covered. Number 2 were teachers and professors. Number 3, marketing and PR specialists. 4th, stay-at-home parents. Is that the lonely housewife kind of thing?
I think it could be, yes. And actually what's really interesting is that a lot of single men sign up to Ashley Madison in order to meet married women. So both parties are not necessarily looking, as I said at the beginning, to blow up the primary relationship. What they're looking for is an extra kind of experience. And I think if you're feeling very unvalidated emotionally, if your emotional needs are not being met, that is a very dispiriting place to be. And if they're not being met in your primary marriage, that's a very lonely place to be.
Are we losing what is just a traditional faithful marriage, where just 2 people are just married for life, they're in love, and they're not looking elsewhere?
But that was a construct that was created in sort of the 15th century.
You think it's outdated?
I think it's worth paying attention to the fact that if you lived to 40, you could expect to be with your primary partner for the rest of your life. If you can live to 110, which frankly anyone who's Gen Z could realistically, with medical advancements, live to 110, can you realistically expect to grow and nourish and nurture the same person that you met when you were 22?
Are you going to be having sex at 110?
I hope so.
You never know. Miracle wonders. The top 5, by the way, just to finish off, the top 5 male respondents were tradespeople, IT techs, then engineers, sales managers and construction workers. Maybe not so many surprises in there.